Right. There we go. All righty. Well, welcome everyone. Mrs. Bantam, thank you for showing up and showing your beautiful face. I got a few faces I can see, but the rest of me, I know I see your pictures, so I'm sure you're handsome and beautiful. All right. Well, I'm Daryl Andrews. Many of y'all know me as Coach D. If you have met me before, which many of you have, could you put in the chat feature who you are and how did we meet? Okay. All right. Now, Brandon, you don't have to because I know how we met. And Joe, you don't have to, of course. But the rest of you, please just pop it in there, or maybe we're connected on LinkedIn, things of that nature, because I'm going to be sharing something with y'all exciting today. All right. And what I want you to do is please have a pen and a pad. Okay. Because what I'm going to share with you, I've shared at a very high level. I've shared with major corporations, I've shared with major state agencies and organizations, some governments, all these different things. These are what I'm going to share with you because here's what I believe. All right. And I'm loving Allison that look. That is so cool. I like that. Mario is in the house. So I forgot. That's right. Today is Halloween. I forgot about today is Halloween. I should have dressed up. But here's my dress up, my Eagles hat. How's that? That's acceptable. All right. So to tell you a little bit about myself, all right. My name is Daryl Andrews, Coach D. I have been in the speaking and training industry for 24 years. And I'll be honest with you, it all started as a dream. I worked for a Fortune 500 company by the name of Abbott Laboratories, which is at that time was one of the largest medical diagnostic companies in the world. And I was in sales and marketing for Abbott. I was one of the top 5% sales reps in the world, and I just got this crazy epiphany that I want to do something else, right? My family thought I was crazy. Like, you know how hard it is to get jobs like this? Not my immediate family, but extended. You are in one of the top companies in the world. You're going to go out and do what? You know, you're going to go out and motivate people. Stay on that job for 30 years and motivate later. So that's kind of what everybody was saying. But I know that in my heart, I wanted to look at my life from a different perspective 30 years later. What's the contribution that I made in my lifetime? And so I could have stayed there and made a tremendous contribution to that company, which I was to the tune of millions of dollars because we were making them a lot of dollars. But I decided to go with my heart. And that's to go out here and inspire and motivate people to maximize their potential. So in starting that process, it was a dream. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know who to connect with. And I'll tell you something, you want to hear about faith, and how God can bless. I was talking to one of my friends about what I wanted to do. And she said to me, "Are you serious about it?" I said, "Yes, I just want to use my life to make a difference on the planet." She said, "Well, I know Les Brown personally." This is Les in his heyday, Les. Okay, he's still good today, but back then he owned motivation. Okay. I said, "No, you don't. You're kidding." She said, "I have him on speed dial." I said, "You lying." There's no way. She said, "Sit back." She calls this number, puts on the speaker. I immediately knew it was Les Brown. I knew his voice. And I said, "Is this Les Brown?" She said, "Yes, it's Les Brown." I said, "Oh my God, this woman was lying." I said, "Mr. Brown." He said, "Man, don't call me Mr. Brown. It makes me sound old. Just call me Les." I said, "I'm looking to get into the speaking and training field and I'm just trying to learn. I don't want anybody to do anything for me. I'll do the do part. I just want to learn some systems." And he said, "Well, if Tony contacted me to meet you, then you're serious because she would have never done that. And so this is what we'll do. We'll schedule a series of calls and I'll educate you." And from that call, several calls followed with Les Brown. I was shocked by this. Okay. And that laid the foundation for me to build a 24-year career. So I'm saying that to say from the beginning, I was blessed by someone willing to give and share their insights with me to do what I've done since that time 3,000 stages, millions of people, 9 books, traveling all over the world. Now I want to be Les Brown. and give back. All right, come on, y'all. Show me some love with that. Go like the emojis and give me a little, you know, yeah, there you go. A little thumbs up or so. Thank you, Crystal. Feel y'all showing some love, man. Come on, you know. And I said, because, I mean, and let me tell you why. Look at all this. I'm feeling y'all. Thank y'all for that. So, um, I realize today more than ever, and I want you to hear me. Joe, I want you to hear me what you're doing with the Building Men program in Syracuse, New York. Joe Horan is on here. He's from my hometown, and he's impacting the lives of so many young boys in my hometown. It's incredible. And I was with him when he first had his dream. And years later, this dream is manifested. So kudos to you, my friend, for what you're doing. But what I'm trying to say today is, and please take notes, because I'm not just trying to motivate as far as my voice and this is what I do. We need motivation today more than ever. Write that down as a note. We need motivation more than ever. And I'm going to break down why that is. It's not just being a motivational speaker or a leader of an organization. We are in some of the most interesting times I've ever seen in my 60 plus years of living. And some of y'all probably shocked because you probably thought I was 24. I know. You can hold that for now. Just, like he's 20. I thought he was like 25. I know. So that's how they think we are, Joe, because we just look like that, man. But no, I'm 63 years old. I just go to the gym every day. Bro, I still got some guns. I'm still on it. But I don't like the trajectory we're on right now. It seems today pessimism is more prominent than optimism. I don't like that. Because I think about the young men that Joe works with, and I look at all these other, what example are they being provided by we adults? And I'm going to make this immediate so you don't get all bent out of shape. I'm not talking about politics to come here like, oh, here he goes. He's talking Democrat versus Republican. That's how you think. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about society as a whole. Okay? So for those of you who think I'm going there, forget that. I don't do politics. I'm apolitical. I'm here to talk about society. I care about young people. I care about families. I care about workers, employees. That's what I'm talking about. Now, I mean, maybe in some ways politics plays a role in all that. But the point I'm making is we need motivators. Go to the emoji and pop up a thumbs up if you're one of those people that you want to inspire some folks, man. You want to make a difference. Come on, that's why you're here. Pop in there. You want to inspire some folk, right? You want to make a difference. I'm going to show you, I'm going to pour all 24 years of my career into you. Oh, you know what I mean? Even not just if you want to be a stage speaker, you may want to just be a stage speaker, but I'm talking about just you want to motivate, man. Because you have been told about motivation, informed about motivation the wrong way. What I'm going to share with you today is going to bring some life to this thing. And you're going to see it's much bigger than what people have made it. So get your pen and pads out. We're going to go for about 30 minutes of teaching. I'm going to open the floor up for you to ask questions. And I may have you ask questions in between. Shannon will be popping in information as I ask her to. And this is Shannon. Everybody can wave at Shannon. That's my VA helping me out today. Okay? And we're going to unleash something I think is going to be world transforming. And I'm not just saying this, I've been in just about every state 5, 6 times. I've been all over the world doing what I'm doing, virtually and live. And so what I'm trying to say is what I'm saying is not something I'm making up from yesterday. Hey, let me pop up a website. Hey, let me just, because there's a lot of people out here doing that. No credibility. There's a young lady, I'm sorry, I hope she's not on here, who's 23 years old and making a truckload on career advice. And I'm thinking, what kind of career does she have at 23? Like, what experience does she have to talk at this level? And I'm not knocking her. God bless her that she's doing okay. But the point I'm making is it takes experience to truly understand the process of doing things because there's things that you learn over time. So God bless her for using algorithms and all that type of stuff. But what I'm trying to say to you today is that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to share some information with you that hopefully will help you understand that we need to unleash some motivators on this world. So write this down. My initiative that I'm working with is called the 100,000 Motivators Initiative. Please put that down. 100,000 motivators. I am on a crazy mission to empower 100,000 people worldwide to take motivation to the masses. And when you get what I'm going to share with you right now, you'll understand it's not what you think. All right? It's not what you think. I remember speaking here at this picture. I spoke to Walmart Corporation. Now they kind of messed me up, Dr. Cole, because what they did was, man, they flew me down there on a private jet. That's the first thing that messed me up. Walmart spends a lot of money when they bring speakers in. They put me in the limousine. The president was sitting on one side, and I'm going to speak to all 8,000 of their senior leaders worldwide on one of their core values, striving for excellence. Just one. Got on the stage, blew that thing out. All right. What's his name? Lee Scott, the former president, was there. And he told me, he said, Coach D, if you do a good job, I'm going to give you 2 thumbs up. If you're terrible, I'm going to give you 2 thumbs down with his Arkansas accent. And I got up on that stage. That was a challenge right there. I got on that stage, ripped that thing apart, walked off the stage, looked at him. I said, well, he had hands like this. Then he said, I got to give you 2 thumbs up. We empowered Walmart that day, senior leaders from all over the world, because there's something that I know about motivation that a lot of people don't know. I know some things about motivation, so we're going to dive into it a little bit. See, I've been all over these stages, all over the United Airlines, be training 26,000 of their people, different conferences all over the country. Joe knows this, young people to the tune of probably 1 million in auditoriums like this, just empowering and charging. One young lady, I'm going to share something, just how powerful this is so you can understand where I'm going with this. One young lady at one of my events in Illinois was found out after the principal wanted me to go back and talk to her after the event, was planning on committing suicide after school. And when I spoke to them, I said, a student with a dream is a student with a future. And that must have resonated with that girl, because the principal said, you can't leave, Mr. Andrews. You got to come back and talk to one of my students. When I went back there, she was crying, and I said, what's going on with her? And she gave me the biggest hug. I said, you okay, sweetheart? And she took this letter and gave it to me, said, read this. I read it. I said, oh my God, are you serious? She said, yes. She said, but Mr. Andrews, could you give it back to me again, please, sir? I said, sure. She ripped it up, threw it in the garbage can, said, I got a reason to live. She's a college graduate, amazing career. I stayed with her. I wasn't going to just leave her there. I found some pastors for her locally because I didn't live in that area. And we got that girl on track. She graduated and blew life up. Why? That's the power of motivation. People think that motivation is just speaking and getting paid all this money to stand on stages. Yes, there's some speakers that do that. What I'm trying to talk about is motivation that, yes, you may get paid, or you already may be getting paid as a leader, but your words transform so much they're like almost life altering. That's what I want y'all to get today. Okay. So when I'm up here, I'm not up here doing this show. I can get you fired up. Don't get me wrong. Now, Brother Cole, I got that, don't I, man? You've seen me speak on some of those stages at NARDP conventions and all that. And Joe, you've seen it, and many others. But what I'm trying to say is this. I'm not up there to perform. I'm up there to transform. Please write that down. I am not up there to perform. I am up there to transform. Type that in the chat feature. Come on, y'all. I want y'all to get this. Come on. I got to stop this for a moment. Come on. Everybody, type that right in the chat feature. I am out here to transform. Please, I'm not to perform. See, there's some leaders that are performing, but they're not transforming. You know what I mean? There's all kinds. You see, we want to understand it's about transformation, because you know what's powerful about transformation? You can't go back to where you were. So when a great motivator takes a person down a totally different pathway to where they are no longer the person they were when you met them. I can tell you thousands of stories, and it wouldn't be boring. I was about to say, boy, it wouldn't be boring. I just told you one about this young lady, but I will tell you one other quick one, just a quick one. All right, quick one. So I was speaking in North Carolina, and my workshop was how to there. Thank y'all for putting that in there. I see y'all got it. Good, good. I was speaking in North Carolina, at this, I have what's called a book. My first book was entitled How to Find Your Passion and Make a Living at It. So I was doing these How to Find Your Passion seminars all up and down the East Coast. And I was doing one in North Carolina. And it was about 300 people that showed up. It was pretty packed out. And so there was this older guy, Caucasian guy that was kind of floating around. He looked a little uncomfortable. And so I noticed him and I said, man, what's going on? So after the seminar, I walked up and said, you okay, man? You just kind of like hovering. You're not sitting down. I don't know what's going on. Talk to me. He said, Coach, you got a second? I said, man, I got about 5 seconds. Fire away. He said, man, you won't believe this. He said, I just sold my 4 businesses. I got $65 million sitting in my bank account. I was like, okay, cool. He said, but you know what I realized? And the reason why I came here, you may think, why would a guy like me come here? He said, I got all the money I could spend in 5 lifetimes, but I don't have a sense of purpose. See, people equate finances with purpose. Here's a man that had the finances and no purpose. He said, I came here and that's what you helped me to get today. You see, motivation is not just for folks who don't have anything. Motivation is for all people. You think that some people have stuff? Listen, I can tell you stories of multi-millionaires that were in my arms crying because they have no relationship with their kids. You see what I'm saying? So don't think that motivation is just for a few select people. This is something that is just here designed to inspire and engage all people. So let me go into some more of this here because I don't want to overwhelm you with all of this. You know, and I remember people used to say, you're going to just be a one-book wonder. Well, I got 9 of them now. You see, because I realized this, that once you can identify, as my mentor, Miles Monroe would say, why you're here on the planet, everything else follows suit. And so my thing is, I want to let my light shine. Now I want yours to shine. My light has been shining for 24 years. If I had it my way within 2 years, I probably won't even get on another stage. I just will be coaching other people to do it. And I only show up as a guru. We need a guru today. Okay, coach, you show up. I would rather see you on that stage. So the thing you got to understand is this. We're going to redefine motivation. I'm not going to do all this today, but I just want you to know these are some of the things we're going to do. All right. We'll probably invite you back to another, seminar so you can understand some things. But the big thing I want you to understand is today we're going to redefine motivation. I'm going to talk about our MWE framework as well. Write this down, all right, as a quote. You don't rise to the level of your goals. Please write this down. You fall to the level of your systems. Please write that down. And as you're writing it down, someone tell me, what does that mean? You can come off of mute or whatever and just tell me, what does that mean to you when you hear that? You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Anybody have any thoughts on that? I know at least one of you got to.
I would say that
And tell us your name when you come on, please, so we know who it is. Yes. Go ahead.
Amaya.
Okay, Maya. Go ahead, talk to us.
I would say that it doesn't matter, what kind of goals you put in place or what kind of fancy mechanisms you get to make sure you remember your goals. It's going to be very hard to reach your goals. As an example, if you have a hard time getting up in the morning,
There you go.
or you don't lay your clothes out before work. So it's going to
Bingo.
be hard to be more on time because you
Yep.
already have a system of not getting ready or prepared.
You're disorganized. Very good. Let's give her a thumbs up for that one. Yeah, good job. Yeah. See, the thing about it is I can have all the great intentions in the world, but if I don't have a system to move me towards those intentions, it's just a good idea. That's all that will remain. And so like I work with companies and we do these culture type things, trying to build cultures out. And then, I have people say, well, coach, we've tried this before and we were unsuccessful. It doesn't seem to work. And I said, you know why? You haven't met me yet, but that's number one. I said, two, is because you don't have a system. You just had a training. One training is not going to change the culture. You got to go into the deeper parts of people from a systems perspective to be able to create continuity. So But that's just like it is with an organization, it's the same with us. What's our system? You know, if I want to motivate people, what's the system? What am I putting in place? And so we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go along. All right. So this is the biggest mistake, all right, that people realize. All right. We got to understand that motivation, I'm going to go into this in just a moment. This is a new definition for you. Most of you have never heard this before. Okay. And if you go out there and use it in a speech, you better give me credit. I'll go out there. I'll be going out there, Ms. Bantam, and saying, you know, I just came up with this deep revelation. All right. All right. All right. Or Casanova. Just don't be going out there using my stuff with your Mario looking self and using my stuff. Okay. So motivation is made up of two words. Okay. Okay. Motive and action. Don't ever forget this. Motive and action. Don't ever forget this. This is where most people go wrong. They call themselves motivating some people, but the people don't have a motive. Okay, so let me give you an example. I'm a sales manager and I got 1,000 sales reps all over the country. We want to do $20 billion in business this year. Get out there and make it happen. Okay, that's nice. What's going to motivate that sales rep to get out there and do it besides, okay, we're paying you a paycheck? So now you got to understand, what is it? It could be financially for some people. It could be other motives for other people. But the reality is you don't get to motivation until you do motive and action. People need a motive. So when you're a leader leading an organization, let's say, you need to be sitting down with your people and having in-depth conversations with them. You don't just hire them and say, go get them. Go get them. That's not good leadership. People need to have a stronger why. Am I here to inspire these young people? Why? Now, some of us have it, don't get me wrong, but connect it to a why. So the motive is the internal driver, the purpose, the compelling reason that makes motivation feel necessary. Don't ever forget that. That's why, let me ask you a question. You can put a hands up or thumbs up. How many of you have ever seen people go to a conference and within 2 weeks, they back to normal? Give me some, come on, I want to look at this one. Come on, give me some type of, yeah, there you go. They're back to normal. Why is that? Somebody tell me. Come on, talk to me. Why is that? Come on, you smart people. Why is that? Why do people have a tendency, right, to go back to normal? Type it in the chat feature if you like. I want to get one. Not but somebody say guilty. Yeah.
It's easier to stay the same way.
Yeah. What did we, there's an old saying, see, some of y'all young, y'all may not remember the saying, it's called the comfort zone. And so a motivator wants to get people out of the comfort zone. Because if not, you go back to what's normal. Every time I do a conference, I have 5,000 people. Oh, coach, I want to talk to you. And, oh, coach, I can't wait to connect with you. Oh, coach. And then I get their names and numbers and I call them, it's like crickets. Because you know what? They're excited at the conference. Now let me go back to my normalcy. If you were really serious, you'd be reaching out to me, calling. Let's get this going. Let's make it happen. Because you're motivated. You see? So what I'm trying to tell people is, listen, action is the part that's important. You got the motive, but the wheels to motive is action, moving forward, doing something. So if people are just being, quote unquote, hearing a motivational speech, that feels good. But the people that are truly motivated go back and do something. Like that young lady that ripped up that letter. Like that man that came to the seminar and said, I got a greater sense of purpose. He actually wanted to be coached, and I did coach him for several coaching sessions. You see why? It's beyond, I feel good about this, too. what am I going to do to achieve this outcome? We're going to train you on how to do that. You'll find out shortly. We got some systems in place that's going to be off the chisane, as the kids would say. All right. So the why. And so the thing we have to do, so, and this is just some common mistakes. I'm not going to read all this stuff. You can read it for yourself. Assuming everyone shares your motive. If any of you ever gone back from something, you feel all good about it, and you tell it to somebody, and they look at you like, oh, really? They ain't feeling nothing you saying. Because you know why? They haven't bought into what you're saying yet. So you're excited about it, but they're looking at you like, I'm ready to go have a hot dog and some chips. They're not even thinking about it. Why? Because part of motivation is getting them to take ownership. All right. Excuse me 1 second. I just realized something. It's just gonna be weird what I'm about to do. But my computer just said low battery, and I don't know why. Okay, we just fixed it. All right. So skipping straight to action. We're gonna break sales records today. Let's go get them. Never explaining why, never explaining what the goals are, never explaining how people are going to benefit. Or to the kids, get good grades in school so we can look good to the state. I remember back in the days of what they call AYP, adequate yearly progress in schools. They would come in there, you got to do well on the state test. You got to do well on the state kids. And the kids looking like, why? They don't have a reason. You need to tell them, you know what? I see tremendous potential in your future. I think you can grow up to become a doctor. You could be a lawyer. You could be a teacher. There's nothing you can't accomplish. But life itself is full of tests. And all this test is just another test to get you to where you're going. You see, that's a different conversation than do well on the state test. Okay? All right. And so then again, using your dominant domain, that's kind of be personality style and all that. It's good to study people so you can understand their styles and failing to make it actionable. These are just some mistakes that we make. Okay. And so this is, I don't have enough time in an hour to go over all of this, but we believe in frameworks. And I'm going to tell you something that's going to seem strange. And some of you are going to think this sounds like it's from church. Maybe to some extent it may be, I don't know. But I realized that we function out of three specific things in this human experience of ours: our mind, our will, and our emotions. And as a motivator, your motivation should be targeted to hit these three. When I stand on the stage to inspire people, all three of these are incorporated in my presentation. When I am leading people in any capacity, all three of these are connected to my leadership with these folks. All right. And so the mind, when you're motivating something, the mind, all right, is powerful. But I'm going to break something down for you. This is where, once you get this, the mind is logic, clarity, and purpose, the intellectual map that shows people they're going, where they're going, and why it matters. So the mind sees all this. Anybody want to know what's the strongest component of these three? You can type it or you can come off of mute and tell me. Which one of these three you think are the most powerful to get people to move to action? Anybody want to take a guess?
Your will,
Who said that?
Wanda.
Wanda, boom. You just said you just passed the test. The will. What controls the will, my friends? What controls the will? Come on, I'm asking questions. I want a little engagement here. All right. Somebody said emotion. That's okay. All right. So what controls the will?
Mind?
Close.
Emotions.
Nope. No, it's not even in these three.
Okay.
What controls the will? Now, I know if I was in church, I'll say God or Jesus. All right. Well, I see some folks outside the church that go to church that need some more help. So anyway, it's a whole nother story. Okay. You're ready for this? Don't forget this. I'm trying to teach you how to motivate people. Life experiences. The will is controlled by things I've experienced, how I was raised, things I interacted with. So that's why you can't get mad at people when they act a certain way because they don't even know why they act in that way. We had one of the most successful youth programs in the United States under the Workforce Investment Act. And people are like, how in the heck are y'all getting so many kids to graduate when most of these folks are, these folks are coming from these environments and all of that? Because you know why? We address their life experiences and help them to see that what you were exposed to, if it's positive, let's keep running with it. But if it's something that's going to take you off course, we need to reboot your computer. Because you got some stuff on there that like needs to be cleaned out. And so the will is when that kid sits in there, I don't want to do well in school. And the kid next to him gets straight A's. Or this person over here working with their fellow employees, and this person like, man, I'm just going to do my job. Two people, human, mind, all that. But so what I'm trying to say is your big thing is, and don't think this is weird what I'm trying to say. I'm not sure as a motivator, you're going after the will of people. And you want them to understand that that could be a little bit of work. That's why when I go consult organizations, I can come and do a one-time event. People like that stuff because it feels good. But I always try to, that sounds funny, but sort of upsell to a system. Because I tell them, I can come do team building, but what y'all gonna do next week? You gotta work with folks. So that's it. Yeah, this is there you go. That's it. Yeah, motivation, that's good. Carmen, that's good. Motivational interviewing too. That's good from a workforce development standpoint. Y'all know I do a lot of work there for those who are on here, and I'm teaching a course, a couple courses, a couple organizations on this process as we speak. That's how you connect with your clients in workforce development. So the emotions, I don't want to leave that out, what we see expressed, you know, and some people, let's be real, sometimes could be a little bit of emotionless. Anybody ever met a person like that? Ain't got no emotion for nothing. You know why? Their will has been impacted as well as their mind. And so what you see in the emotions is a byproduct, again, of what the will has experienced, that's experiences, life experiences. So true motivation occurs when all three domains are aligned. All right. And so you want to intentionally, as a speaker or a leader, whatever capacity, be intentional, okay, when it comes to engaging these three in your messages. Okay. All right. So, so for leaders, you want, just to give you a little deep dive, you know, it's important. Like when you look at the mind, it's like, why does this make sense? This is motivation. All right. And so why does this make sense? For the leaders, you want clarity of vision, paint the picture, the why behind the what, and use data and logic to explain it. Okay. And so that's for the leaders because most leaders will just say, do it because I'm the boss. And people look at you like really? Especially nowadays. Back in the old days, you kind of get away with that, but not today. People like, I can find me a new boss 2 weeks from now. I go down, quiet quit on your butt. I'm out of here. All right. And for speakers, you want to have an opening thesis. You want to lay the foundation. You want to structure what you're going to say. And you want it wrapped in a story because people, when you speak, remember stories more than 90% of what you're going to say on that stage. That they do remember stories. I'll say this, at my hometown, Syracuse, New York, about 2 years ago, I was inducted into my high school's Hall of Fame. Go Coach D. Woo, 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 woo. All right. It was cool because my son, who was with me, Alexander, I used to always tell my boys, your dad was the best athlete. We always talk stuff. Your dad, man, I was the man. I was in high school. But they're like, yeah, dad, whatever. And so when we went up to the Hall of Fame event, my youngest boy looked at me. He said, Dad, you weren't lying. So I told you I wasn't lying. Oh, it's good. But but I lost the reason why I said I was gonna say that. There's I had this thought in my head that was going to transform over to this, But anyway, there was a reason why I was going to say that. But the thing about this is understanding that your mind, all right, you got to be able to. I'm sorry. Uh, when I my that was the last one, the data wrapped in the story. So I shared that story with my kids, and then that was the evidence. That's what I was trying to say. All right, and so people need a map before they start a journey. Whether you're leading them on the team or addressing the audience, your responsibility is to provide that map with absolute clarity. I'm going to give you a few more things. We're going to wrap it up and get some questions in. And then we want to talk about the will, okay? Because this is a hard one. All right. This is a hard one. Because like in that middle part, remove friction. If a person's will is to see something a certain way, you can't necessarily expect them, okay, to want to make that change immediately. Okay. All right. So the will part. And so and then once they start to make the changes, we want to celebrate progress. Okay. We want to celebrate progress. And then the emotions, we all know about that. And the big thing with emotions from a leadership standpoint is we want to build safety and belonging. And then with speakers, we want to build rapport so that the audience can connect with you. I spend my first 5 minutes on stage whenever I speak, building rapport with my audience. It could be talking to them, it could be back and forth bantering, it could be, it could be a question that I throw out there. You know what I mean? I got my hand up. What do you think? I'm like engaging my audiences. All right. That could be and so those are just some things. And then so appeal to the identity for leaders. We're problem solvers. The challenge is actually do what's best, and it's who we are. Use vivid language. All right. And for speakers, master sensory details. All right. So some things just to keep in mind. Okay. And so with this framework, it can be used in different capacities. You'll get a copy of this video. I'm gonna send this video out to you. So taking some notes, but you'll get this so you can see it again. All right. And feel free to share with other people. But, you know, the same psychology is important. Both contexts require you to connect motive to action, engage logic and emotion, and provide clear pathways for movement. That's how change takes place, my friends. You see, if you're a leader or if you're a person that wants to be on stage, that's what it takes. All right. We gotta impact the mind, the will, and the emotions. All right. So the thing about it is you're the instrument. Write that down as a note. I am the instrument. And so as the instrument, you know, you gotta be patient with yourself and learn how to interact with people in such a way that they want to hear what you say. You see, I cut my teeth working with young people. And you talk about somebody that's hard to gain trust with. Boy, if you can master working with young folks, you can work with anybody. Because the thing I love about young people is they're raw, man. They're going to tell you the truth, the whole truth. So help me God. I came in one time, I had this suit on. One of them walked in and said, Coach, that's an ugly suit. I said, thank you. No, I thought I'd just let you know that. It's okay. You know, they're very raw. So you got to earn their trust. And like in workforce development, people out there, your clients, you got to earn trust. Education, employers, you got to earn the trust of your employees. Just because you're a leader don't mean you automatically get it. You got to earn it. All right. And so that's something to think about. Um, I don't want this is too much. I don't want to overwhelm y'all with all this. I'm just kind of slip past this slide right here. Um, Keep in mind that there's a way to go about all this. You're going to get all this anyway, so don't, because I know we're run out of time, and I do want to leave time for Q&A. But realize that if you're in an organizational constructs, you're building teams. All right, and here's a acronym for teams. I want y'all to get totally exceptional attitudes meshing. Totally exceptional attitudes meshing. Somebody type that in the chat feature. Totally exceptional attitudes meshing, coming together. And as a leader, that's your ultimate goal. All right. Now, this is only a 1 hour, event. And I can only get so much in an hour. And I probably talk way more than I normally would like to talk, but I want to get some of this information in there. If we ever interact beyond this, there's going to be a lot of back and forth, but I just want to, this first one, lay a foundation. Okay. All right. So, couple of things that we're looking for. We have a thing that we're doing called the 100,000 Motivators Initiative. Okay. And so with the 100,000 Motivators Initiative, I want to empower 100,000 motivators. And I'm not going to stop till I do it. It may take me 5 years. It may take me 10 years, but I'm going to stay with it so I can literally document the fact that we have 100,000 people. I'm not talking about from a stage. I'm talking coaching. All right. Now, in order to do that, you can become an affiliate. And what do we have? We have a couple of things. One, we do have some coaching programs we offer, but we have a school. All right. The 100,000 Motivators School that this, listen to this for you guys. Shannon, if you could put that link up into the chat feature, please, y'all click the link. All right. Well, we're looking at flooding that school with 100,000 potential motivators from a leadership standpoint or a speaker standpoint. Now, for those of you who are on this call, I'm going to do about 3 or 4 more of these. You can go in for free for the first 3 months. Okay. So if you sign up today, all right, or by the end of next week, you're in. Now, if you go in there a month from now, there's going to be a fee. But go in and join it, because what we're going to do, and there's not much in there right now, it's just there. You're signing up. It's free. And every day we're going to be pumping information for leaders and information for speakers into this school. So I believe, Shannon, did you put that up in there? I think you may have already. I can't see on this end. Yep. The link to go to the school. Yep, there it is. Do y'all see that link? You can go ahead and take a look at that in the chat feature. Okay. And so if you can do that, sign up. It's free right now. Like I said, for 3 months. That's 3 months of coaching, 3 months of training. Only thing I ask is that you help me get to that 100 mark. Okay. So tell other people, let them know. And once I hit 100, I'm shutting it down and putting up a fee. All right. And the fee is only going to be $59 a month. So it's not going to be super expensive anyway. Okay. So what I want, there you go. Tell your friends, help me advocate. I'm giving this away because what I want to do is move towards the goal. Okay. All right. And so let me see. I just lost this here. Pull it back up. And so we got that. Also, once we start to do the for fee services with this, and we do have some now, if you could put up motivators, the website movement, okay, put that up, and you can go there. You can see some of the services that we're offering. Okay, and so please take a look at that, because that's going to tell you a little bit more about the bigger picture, things that we're doing. But I'm looking for affiliates. In other words, you may say, "Hey, coach, I like this, what you're doing, and I would like to have a little side hustle as well." And so let's say, for instance, you get people who sign up for the $59 school. You get 25% of that every month that they stay signed up. You know what I mean? So that could be pretty significant over time. And then if they take any of the coaching services, you get 25% of that. That 25% is not going to last long. I'm going to do that for about 3 months too. Then we're going to take it down a little bit. But this is trying to get people. So if you're interested in being an affiliate, just hit me up with an email, or you can put on the chat feature, interested. We'll follow up with you. Okay. And we'll so put that in the chat feature. Also, follow me on LinkedIn. Shannon, if you could put my LinkedIn a page there, let's go ahead and connect on LinkedIn. Most of you I think we're already connected, so we may not need that. So, if we can go ahead and put that in the chat feature as well, because I do a lot on LinkedIn. How many of y'all use LinkedIn? Any LinkedIn users? All right. It's a great tool. And then lastly, if you're interested, if you could put up the Calendly link, Shannon, if you may be interested in booking us for some services, if you work with an organization. We understand that budgets right now are absolutely unequivocally insane. especially if you're in the workforce, um, the workforce development space. So we've made some concessions with that, and we have some systems that we're doing to make it a little easier for folks who don't have the budgets. So let's, reach out to me. I think we may have lost Shannon for a minute, but there's a link for Calendly. Let me see if she's back in. Did we get her back in? She kind of got kicked out. I don't know if she's here. But I'll put that in for you just real quick, the Calendly link. And I think she accidentally got kicked out. And so if you want to meet and kind of discuss some of what we're doing, that will be, oh, she's back. Okay. All right. And so I'm going to go ahead and pop it in because you got to kind of they kicked you out, Shannon. The system didn't like you. You can go here to this page and schedule a time for 15-minute discussion. Or if you want to go here because you may say, Coach, I'm thinking about becoming a speaker and would love to talk to you about that. So you got a lot of options here. Shannon, could you put them in again? Because some folks may have missed them, like the school, free right now. Sign up, join the school. All right. Connect on LinkedIn. You may be interested in being an affiliate. Let's talk about that. Even if you don't want to put it in the chat today, you may say, hey, reach out to us later. You got my email and say, Coach, I'd like to talk to you more about that affiliate piece. Or, we can connect on LinkedIn. All right. So I know I covered probably way too much today, but are there any questions that you have of me? Any questions? And I got to at least get one or two of them. All right. It could be about motivating somebody on your team. It could be about, using your voice to motivate. Any questions? And I don't want to make it look like I did that good a job. There ain't no questions. I'm gonna start calling names out in a minute. Allison, ask me. Okay, who's that? I heard something.
Amaya.
Hey, Amaya, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't know if it's a question, but any advice do you have about self willpower?
Willpower. Okay.
Yeah, for yourself, like motivating you to get up and so you can help others.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? It's interesting that you noticed what you said, willpower. So the thing with willpower is this. We talked a little bit earlier about the will and what is it was impacted by experiences. Remember that? The thing that helped me develop willpower was the frequent, and I do mean frequent listening of audios, videos, books, you name it, to help reprogram my wiring. You see, will is wrapped in wiring. And we have a tendency to stay lapped in that wiring if we don't give it new information. First thing I'm going to say to you is sign up for the school, because every day we're going to be popping information in there. Okay. Another thing too is connect not to the big purpose thing that people always talk about, but what's a little purpose? What's something I can do starting tomorrow to maybe impact somebody? It could be mentoring someone. It could be volunteering at an organization. It doesn't always have to be big. It could be small. But keep in mind, the big thing is with will, the mind is going, it's just the mind is stuff we put in and things like that. The emotions are a byproduct of the two, but the will, more than anything, has to be reprogrammed. That's why, to be honest with you, some people can spend their whole lifetime doing things a certain way unless they make a shift in that area. So I don't know if that helps. Find your favorite speaker. I know Daryl Coach D Andrews is a pretty good one, but there's others out there.
Yeah, they definitely help.
Yeah, it will help. It will help because I've been doing this a long time and I've seen people totally transform their lives from a struggle to taking over the world. I got one mentee I'm not going to mention right now. This dude doing some stuff that's out of this world. And when you first met him, get him to say his name was hard. He made a change. So we got you. I hope that helped. And anybody else? Thank you for that. Somebody asked a question. Yep. Yep. So anybody else? Any questions? Type in the chat feature one thing you're going to do as a result of listening to this lesson. Type in there. I want to see what you're going to do. Okay? Yep. Okay. I got you, Patrick. We'll follow up. I know you want to connect, so let's do that. Make sure that you go and join the school too, so we can. All right. One thing in the chat, put forth action, but tell us what you're going to put forth action on what? What you're going to do. We talked about motive action. We talked about will. We talked about mind, will, and emotions, the frameworks. Somebody else, tell me what are you going to do based upon what you've learned today? All right.
Coach, Coach D, I have a question for
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Yep.
This is Shamara.
Hey.
So, hey, you mentioned the school, and I know you said you're going to be loading up information on there on a, consistent basis, but what
hmm
could someone expect? Like, are you going to be doing, webinars? Are you going to have, space for people to find their voice or to
hmm
identify what that looks like? Can you just kind of give a little bit of brief information of
hmm
what you could expect in the school?
That was the best question of the day right there. Yeah. In the school, it's going to be a school. We're going to provide information on being effective as a leader, motivating folks. It's a bifurcated thing. And then we're going to also look at if you want to be a speaker in motivating folks. So we're going to give you the tools. We're going to equip you with strategies. We're going to be looking at mindset. We're going to be looking at will. We're going to be looking at emotions. You're going to be getting daily motivational videos. They won't be any longer than 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It may be mine. It may be yours. I may ask some of you, send me something. I'll pop it in the school. It may be other speakers that I know and want you to learn from. I'm going to give you strategies to overcome things like procrastination and putting things off, self-doubt, and all of that. And so there will be classes, there's going to be courses, okay, that you'll take on every aspects of motivating people. It's going to be multiple courses. We don't have anything there right now. We're just getting started. So we're going to have courses. If you are a member of the group, you get to access to those. You're in. We're going to be inviting. I got a world-class cadre of people that I know. I'm going to invite them on sometimes just to have conversations. You'll find out about it and get the link to be able to go to it if you are, again, in the school. All right. It's going to be a lot, but it's all about motivation because my goal is really to, again, empower the 100,000 people. All right. To get out here and to use your voice to make a difference. Now, let me tell you my methods to my madness with that one. I thought my thing is, what if 100,000 people can impact 100,000 people? Anybody got a calculator? How many? Somebody tell me how many people is that? You know what I mean? Come on. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, seriously, think about it. I don't have my calculator, so I can't do it. Do 100,000 times 100,000. And then tell me, put the number into the chat feature. So Allison said that's a lot of zeros. All right. Anybody else? Anybody get that number? It's a lot. I know it's got to be over a billion, well over a billion. And what I'm leaning is that you can almost spread the world. There you go. We 10 billion people. That's the entire world as a whole. Yep. And so yes. Yeah, so that's the thing. Yeah. And so thank you, Wanda. Yep, there you go. Motivational tools I work with. Okay. Check out more ways to motivate those I serve by using more motivational tools. I work with TANF. Yeah, I do. That's a big part of what we did for years, TANF. So I know a lot of workforce development folks are here. And so yeah. And so that's kind of it. We will follow up with this video. You'll get that. Please take advantage of this free stuff. If you want to meet, schedule the meeting and we can talk about some strategies and things like this. If you want to, it's a Calendly link. Just jump in. You can join the school. Please let people know I can't do this alone and I don't want to because I understand something. Motivation is a critical component to transformation. And I just feel like we're just not motivating enough. We become a very toxic, caustic society. And I'm like, okay, what can I do? I can't change a lot of things, but I can impact the area in which I'm in. All right. So any questions, reach out to me. We'll give you everything. Let me put my email in here if you don't have it. Um, all right, here's my email if you need that. And that's all I have. Thank you all. Thank you, Allison. I see your hand clap here. I appreciate it. Did y'all get something out of it? Go give me emoji, something, y'all. I'm like James Brown back in the day said he was the hardest working man in showbiz. I think I am today. Thank y'all so much. And go to the school, sign up. You're going to be hearing a lot about all the other things we're going to be doing soon, but it's going to be going through the school. Also, I have your email, so I'll be dropping things to you from time to time as far as what we're doing. I'm not trying to sell anything. If there's something that you're interested in buying, let's talk. But, my job is just to put the information out there and for people to do what they want to with it. There are some things, obviously, this is what I do professionally, that we do have services for, individual coaching, like if you want a one-on-one, leadership coaching, things like that, speaker coaching. But beyond that, in the school, a lot of stuff you're gonna get really pretty much at no cost. Okay? That's it. Thank you, Shannon, for your help. Thank you, everyone, and we'll be in touch soon. Hope this
Thank
information
you.
was helpful. Thank you. Take care now. Bye-bye.